What's up, everybody? Let's get right into it, man. I just finished. I did a reaction last night, like an immediate reaction of Season 4, Volume 1 of Stranger Things. And I said I was going to do a full spoiler review today. So I want to do a full spoiler review today. If you're brand new to the show or the channel or any of that stuff, do me a favor and hit that button, subscribe, will you? We're trying to hit the 50,000 subscribers by the end of this month. I think we can do it. And I think that if you're just browsing around looking for Stranger Things videos and you find this, do me a favor, will you? Join this shit dump. That's a sell, right? Come on over and join the shit dump. Anyway, we are going to do a full-on spoiler review. So if you have not seen Volume 1 of Season 4, you have been warned. And that's it. This season was phenomenal. Really good. As I said in my reaction, my immediate reaction was, I think it's as good, if not better, than the first season. You got to always give the first season a little bit more clout because it set up the world, it set everything up, it set the characters up, it made you care, it gave you that idea of this kind of 80s nostalgia thing, but made it feel like 80s, but not just they're trying to do an 80s thing. Everything feels authentic, and they continue to do that 4 seasons in, and they're not getting lazy, they're getting better. As you continue to see the evolution of the characters, the idea, everything about it, and it blends so many different movies. And this is what I love about this. There are ways to do things when it's just a complete, I don't want to say rip-off, but like when it's not being original, when it's a complete just kind of carbon copy of something in the past, and then there's homages to certain things that make you feel nostalgic, but they're still taking it and making it in their own. And Star Wars did that, right? 1977, Star Wars did that, and all the stuff that George Lucas took from all the things in the past is very similar to what the Duffer brothers do with Stranger Things, and certainly in this one. I mean, there's so many movies that you can pull, and I'm just going to name a few of them, and I'm sure in the comment section we'll see more, but the ones that I got were from the horror genre: Evil Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street, It Chapter 2, Hellraiser, Nightmare on Elm Street. Did I say Nightmare on Elm Street? I think I said that twice. Friday the 13th. I mean, there's so many different things that land inside of that. And then you got Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, E.T. There's just tons, and there's little Easter eggs to Spielberg in the show. There's a mailman who's dressed like Spielberg at one point. There's so much love that they give stuff that they grew up with, but again, making it their own. And again, with spoilers, getting right into it with the reveal of Vecna, that was to me reminded me of Voldemort in the way that Tom Riddle was introduced, and throughout the whole thing, Riddle was trying to help Harry out, and then by the end, you reveal that he's Voldemort. The only thing that sucks for me, this has nothing to do with you guys, this is on me. I got spoiled on the reveal on Vecna because as I was watching, I knew that Robert Englund was in this show. I knew he was in the show, and I was like, oh, well, who does he play? And this is before I had seen him show up, with his eyes all gorged out and all that. I was like, is he playing Vecna? I'm like, so I type in actor who's playing Vecna, and then they popped up and they showed the orderly, and I'm like, oh, okay, I don't understand. And it wasn't, and I didn't really dive too deep into it. And then I did it again, and I'm like, oh, he must be Vecna. So. But it didn't ruin anything for me, honestly. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, that sucks. You got the whole reveal ruined for you. Not really. Because even though I was like, okay, it was more like how are they going to do this? And they did it, I think, brilliantly. But again, that's on me. That has nothing to do with anybody else except the fact that I tried to find out who the actor was playing Vecna, because I thought that the villain was done so well. I was like, oh, who's doing that? Silly me. Anyway, there's a lot of great stuff going on in the show. I know that there's been some people that have, and I'm very curious to where you guys land about. And I think that they do this kind of every season, and it reminds me of kind of Star Wars Adventures when they separate the cast and they put them in their separate adventures. Some people don't like it, and some people think that they should be together the entire time. I'm in the opposite camp. I actually really love the fact that they're all separated. I think it makes it more impactful when they finally get to the very end of the show. That once you see in Volume 2, when they finally come together, I think that it's going to make that much more of an impact. But I might be in the minority. I don't know. I'm curious where you guys stand. But there's so many, like, the side adventures to me, for the most part, really worked. If I have a couple of nitpicky things, but they're very nitpicky. When the show started and the new cast was coming in, I said to myself, I don't know, man. Might be a lot of new characters I'm not digging, right? And so as they start to get through it, and Elle's in school and she's learning all these things inside, being in California now and running around with Haircut Magoo, I said, where are they going to go with this story? And they had the bully scene, and she can't get her powers, and it was a good way to set it up. I thought the writing was really well done. The introduction of Vecna and how he's starting to do this Freddy Krueger thing and wrecking kids and breaking bones. It was pretty gnarly. The thing that I think up top that I didn't necessarily love was, what the hell's going on with this? Oh, and I love the Hellfire stuff. I love the Hellfire stuff in the beginning, and then they introduce, where the hell is he? We'll get into all that in a second. Oh man, my pictures are all out of whack. This kid, I can't remember what he was in. He's kind of like he's trying to be the Fast Times at Ridgemont High character in this show, and he was in another show. It was what the hell was it? I thought he was really good in it. And it's not that I think he's a bad actor. I think they're trying to make him too much of the stoner kind of comic relief, and he's not landing for me. And I just, he to me just seems like he's there for the joke. There's really no development with him yet, but he could win me over. They're trying to get this Spicoli kind of character out, and he can win me over. We'll see. Gosh darn it, I have all these pictures, but I think that was the majority of stuff. This scene was great with when the kids are all they're trying. Elle gets taken away, and they have to. Everybody's on there. Like I said, they're separate missions, and the way that they played that out, even when Spicoli is driving the car, that to me worked. But the introduction in the beginning of the new characters, like, are there too many characters here? Are we working with way too many of them? Because then they introduced this Eddie character, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm going to like this kid. He seems like he's in a different show altogether, and he turns out to be one of the best things in the whole show. Thought he was great, and they subdued him a little bit more, too. Where that's what I hope they do with the Spicoli guy, because I think that Eddie started off with this big, over-the-top hair metal guy, and he's member of the club, and there's no range to him. And then you actually saw that he's pretty vulnerable once the cheerleader gets killed, and he's got to run out. And I thought he was developed very well when he's going to hide out, and he becomes part of the crew. The other scene I didn't love was when Mike and the crew go to that. It's such a bizarre. It's weird. I don't want to say I don't love it, but it was so bizarre. They wind up at this house with all the kids are playing like theater at one point. There's a dad there, but he's not really. He doesn't really hold much authority as his kids are running amok. And there's the hacker kid. It didn't seem very based in reality at all. Well, none of this is based in reality. It's about a monster in the Upside Down. Fine. But again, it's nitpicky. It didn't bother me that much because I wind up enjoying the scene, even though I think that once season 2 and season 3 happened, there were parts of it, like, what's his name? I can't remember. Was it Morty or whatever, the guy with the beard that Winona Ryder goes on the adventure with? I didn't like him in I think in the beginning of one of the seasons that he showed up in. But I love him in this one. I love him in this one when he's doing his karate in the airplane and all that. And that's why I said I really like the separate adventures. I think there's a couple different separate adventures. When I mentioned Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, it's like that scene after the two of them hijack that plane. Oh, and the other guy, was it Yuri? Yuri was a little over the top for me too. It was just like too much. It was never real. But again, nitpicky. Overall, everything else going on in this show was on the edge of my seat. Even the Yuri scenes, there was no fast forward moments for me. There was no moments where I was like, I gotta move on because it's really boring me. I was never bored, and I think that they set it up so well, and they do, and even though I was spoiled about Vecna's reveal, I didn't know he was the kid of the family. So that's why I said I wonder how they're going to do it overall. So, and when they did that I was not expecting. That I did not see coming. And I think a lot of people could have gotten tired with everything going down with Elle inside of this, the dream and all that, because this was set up very well. They have to put her back in, and because you never really know what's going on with Paul Reiser. Like, she's trying to protect her, and then there's the Matthew Modine. How much is he really Papa? Is he legit? Is he telling the truth? Like, what is really going on? There's so many great stuff going on in this entire series. And oh yeah, and our boy from Game of Thrones pops up, Freddy Krueger with his eyes out, and some. I mean, but I do love that when they get her, they take her, and she trusts them. You know, she goes out to the and there he is. That opening scene. You know that Elle didn't do anything though. You know that Elle didn't do anything with when they set it up. This isn't a bad thing. I'm just saying because you know they set up this. I thought very well. The writing on this show this season is just top notch. They set it up in the beginning where they show you where this tragic thing has happened with all of the kids in the beginning. I thought it was a classy move by Netflix up top to give the warning that a lot of people are going to be a little disturbed by that, considering all the horrible news that has gone on in the world in the last few months and in general. But either way, that scene opens up and you see Elle, and here she is, and they do the deep fake on her where she's little, and he's like, "What have you done?" And that kind of sets in motion that there's a darkness inside her. There's something that's going on inside of her. And when we open up in this school and she whacks the kid in the head with the roller skate, and you still see that there's that anger in her. So did she do it? Did she? And you kind of know that she's the hero of this story. So no, but the way that they lead it up, and they spend a lot of time in that dream world. It had a very Minority Report type of feel. And as she's inside that tank, and she's she's talking to Modine, and he's like, you can leave anytime you want, but I think it's in you, and I think you can figure it out. So she goes back in, and to just and that's why I mentioned the Harry Potter thing. It's like going back into Tom Riddle's diary and figuring it all out, and we get to see exactly what happens, how he broke this down, and at the same time the juxtaposition of what Nancy's going through on the Upside Down and how they played that out. And that's why I think these separate adventures play out so well and are needed. I much rather have them separated, doing their own thing in that Empire Strikes Back type of way, because it gives you more of that feel. And I think that with and the stuff with Max and how it does seem at one point that Max is a big focus of the story, and then they start to pull back. Once Eddie really gets involved, they start to pull back a little bit more. They just put the headphones on her and like, all right, put some music on and you're good now. Don't worry, Vecna's not going to come after you anymore. And that was the one thing they don't really address. Vecna just kind of gives up on Max. And I don't know, maybe they again, there's 2 massive episodes left of the whole season, so we could be eating our words at that point. But it just seems like Max put on the headphones, they saved her, and then she's okay right now. It's more about Eddie and Nancy right now. Nancy more so, on how she and the relationship with her and Steve and how they're playing that together. I mean, there's a lot of memorable stuff going on in this episode, and the directing is top notch, right? Like for what they use and the budget that they use, they really put it to use. They really put it to use. Like there's tons of great scenes, and some people have been talking about the ending scene when you see Vecna kind of turning into, or when you see him turn into Vecna. It kind of looks a little dated. Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably the weakest of the CGI out of all. But I didn't mind it still because I thought the reveal was so good, and then the idea of this is this ultimate villain and how he came to be, this Freddy Krueger, Hellraiser, smart, just kind of nasty villain. Because the other villains that they've had in the past, it's like, how long can you do that? And that's what I think a lot of people's fear was with this show. But they're all doing well, and you know what? I also think they're doing well, everybody. I think they're doing really well because I think they are all drinking Athletic Greens. That's right. Before we move on, I want to tell you about Athletic Greens. And I told you about Athletic Greens. And if you're brand new to the show, you should listen to Athletic Greens. Yesterday I was hurting for energy. I was hanging out with the kids. I was having a great day, but I just crashed. And I needed some vitamins. I needed some stuff. And I've been taking Athletic Greens, and I love Athletic Greens. I use it all the time. I use it every day, as I just said. And it's besides just giving you energy, gives you an optimized immune system. You get better gut health. I love it. I've been using it for weeks now, almost months, to be honest with you. And if you don't know what the hell it is it's a vitamin, but it's one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, and you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins. 75 high-quality vitamins. It's whole food source, superfoods, probiotics. It's got it all. It's got all the things you need for gut health, and for me, I consume it. Like I said, I get a nice boost of energy during the day, and it helps me out. It benefits my life. I get good sleep, really good sleep. I send it to every time my friends come in here. I give them a packet of it. It is lifestyle friendly. It supports better sleep quality and recovery, supports mental clarity and alertness, and it costs you less than $3 a day. You invest in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. Athletic Greens has got over 7,000 5-star reviews, and it's recommended by professional athletes. So it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with a convenient daily nutrition. Just one scoop in a cup of water every day, and that's it. I put it in a water bottle, and I shake it up, and that's all I do, and I just pound it. It's awesome. And to make it easier for you, Athletic Greens, it will give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/bigthing. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/bigthing. Take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. I put a little iCard right there. You can click on it. And for people who are checking out my show for the very first time, you should check it out for yourself. And if you have been following my show and following me for a long time, not only do you help yourself by doing this, you help the show get more sponsors and things of that nature, and sponsors that we really enjoy. So get yourself some Athletic Greens. All right, moving on to some more stuff inside of Stranger Things Season 4. I don't know what it is. It's just the music, and as I said, the directing. But if you look at the performances, and as I said, I think Max is really crushing it this season, and I think for her, Eddie, Vecna, all people that can be considered for awards this year. And I think that it's a matter of, well, they can also be this because they're putting out the second season on July 1st. They're probably why they did it. They're going to be considered for both the Emmys last year and this year. So that's probably why they're doing it. That's why I would guess. That's why I would guess. The Winona Ryder story, I think, is actually really good, the way that they use her as Joyce inside of this. And the idea, because that was our big question at the end of Season 3, right? What the hell happened to Hopper? Is he going to make it? Did he make it? Is he alive? And you kind of reveal at the very end of Season 3 that he did make it. But what? How? He made it through this thing, and he's in this Russian camp. I love the stuff they did with the story and how he breaks out. And I always think that it's what they do very well in this series from the get-go is that they set you up with certain characters thinking it's going to go one way, and it spins you on your head, and even though you might not like a certain character when they start out, you wind up really liking them. As I mentioned, the thing with Eddie, I think Steve was like that in Season 1. They set him up as this kind of traditional Johnny Lawrence type bully from the 80s, and he seems like he's going to be that, but he's not. He's one of the most beloved characters now. Hopper was kind of like the cliched cop for the whole time, and now he's just kind of this badass warrior inside of a prison. They finally get the chance, and I loved that it took so long for them to get back together with him and Joyce. I was afraid it was just going to, oh yeah, Hopper's back now. It took like the whole season to do it, and I thought it was amazing. David Harbour does a great job as Hopper, and I like the emotional journey that he's got to go through in this season. Like, he's got this great reveal about, we knew the stuff about his daughter, obviously, from past seasons, but he talks more about how the Agent Orange effect and how it had these things on him, and he was nervous about it, and how it affected his family, and you get a little bit more deeper. And then, our boy from Game of Thrones was the man with no face. Is that what it was? I can't remember. A man with no name. I can't remember what he was in Game of Thrones. Either way, I like how they set that up, and it looked like he was just kind of like the idea that he was just going to be this kind of money grubbing, Russian dude who turns out to be his buddy, and is like, "Come on, American, you got it. You can do this." And they have this great buddy relationship. I hope they stick around for a while for him. And now that he knows, and the way that they used the Demogorgon in this one, and that they used him as this kind of monster, almost like the lion that was eating the Christians back in the Roman times, and it reminded me of that type of thing, in the way that they did that, and the way that they used that, and the way that I think that Dustin explains so much. He's so and there's so much to talk about with so many different characters, but like the way that they use Dustin, because these characters, after being around for so long, can be very they have the danger of becoming very one note, and I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad that didn't happen with Dustin, what they could do with it, and the idea, because I was even getting annoyed with how Dustin was always kind of cracking on Steve and breaking his chops. I'm like, I thought he loved this guy, and then you hear from Eddie how he can't shut up about him, and I thought, okay, that was great. I like that he's just kind of puts like this little facade up. Now I understand it. I get it now, and there's just little things like that that really play into it. And the idea that Dustin explains things to them and he explains things to us, but it's not like over the head kind of exposition, which I really dug also. I thought that that Caleb McLaughlin does great stuff here too, as Lucas Sinclair, where we've all gone through this. You know, he goes through he's part of the Popular Club, and I thought, again, this is where they duped me. I thought he was going to sell his friends out. I thought he was going to do it, and he's going to, and it was his sister that was going to join. And his sister is fantastic in this as she joins the club, and they use her a lot more and give her. I mean, she had some moments in the previous seasons, but she does a lot more now with joining the Hellfire Club at the beginning. I thought that was a cute moment. But again, with what they do with Lucas, I'm like, okay, he's going to sell him out to just be part of the Popular crew, and he's not. And you get these. And you get the basketball players who are trying to hunt down Eddie, and there's a devil in the town, and there's just so much going on. And if you look at the little things that are just placed in the background, and there's like one scene, I have a shot here, so I'm probably gonna have to go through every single shot before I actually find it. But let's see if I can nail it. No, there he is. I loved this scene, by the way, with Max, and she's floating up into the sky, and they finally save her, because I thought she was gonna eat it. Thought she was going to eat it, and she didn't. And of course, I can't find the frickin' thing. There's a shot when they're in the video store, and I thought it was really clever on what they did. Where is it? And it's Dustin and this homage to Robert Englund and how that plays. This one. Speaking of Robert Englund, this is when Max is being hunted by Vecna. And about to be whatever, or she got the headphones on and everything too, but Freddy Krueger's right over her shoulder, and just staring at her like, "You're next," and that's ultimately I think a symbolism for Vecna. It's just little things like that I thought were just carefully placed and very smart. Loved it. Again, this is set up with Eddie and how like he's going to be this real jerk. He's not, and this scene. When she's talking to her brother, this is one of the best episodes, and this is right before she actually goes floating up into the air. But like all that, and then Dacre Montgomery comes back for a quick one. That's the thing, and they've said this many times over, and why they title it Stranger Things 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they don't title it like different seasons, is that they feel like big long movies. I'm not hating on Obi-Wan the way a lot of people are. I think that it's got a lot of problems. I think that the last episode wasn't very good, but I am enjoying the show. But I could bring up any show, but those are the two that came out at the same time. Obi-Wan to me right now feels very episodic television, the same way that I would if I would watch Rebels or Clone Wars. This doesn't feel that way. This feels like a full-on movie that all fits together. And that's why by making these longer episodes, these hour and 10-minute episodes, hour and 15-minute episodes, you give time to marinate and use that money that you have to develop the characters, enrich the characters, do all that. And that's what I think this show is doing so very well and has done so very well. I loved season 1. Thought season 2 was okay. I enjoyed season 3, I think, more than most. I didn't mind season 3 at all. But I wasn't, like, out of my seat, couldn't wait for season 4. Like, people were telling me, I said, well, Obi-Wan's coming out. I'm going to be watching Obi-Wan. So when it comes to Stranger Things, I'll get to it when I get to it. And it took me 2 weeks to finally get through it. I still think that the binge mode is a thing in the past. I think that it's fun for people to do, but I still think that if you did it by week, you have even more of an impact. But that being said, I watched this show, and I couldn't stop watching it. And I'm like, oh, my God, I got to watch the next one. I got to see what's going on. And it wasn't because I want to review it. I mean, it's part of the reason for sure. And I wanted to get it out there and to get my thoughts out there. But I was like, I felt like it was just a movie I wanted to watch. And it was something I wanted to see, and I needed to see more of it. And I was like, oh, where's this story going? And it wasn't just like, okay, that one was okay. Where's the next one go? It was like every single episode was kind of, even with the little silly criticisms that I had on certain characters and little scenes here and there. I mean, I think that if I was on a percentage, I'm like a 96%. It's like 4% of it that I was like, I would have liked to do that instead of that. Not a lot of complaints with the music. Not a lot of complaints with the acting, even if there was, and it's more of a directing thing and a character thing. Even the Spicoli type character, I don't think the guy's performance is bad. I think that it's just, I don't think that the writing of the characters is that slick yet. He might have a lot more to do. I love the bringing back of Barb and the idea of it. And that's the other thing I wanted to bring up before I signed off, was that what I liked what they did, and because the Duffer brothers have always said they have a full-on plan of how they wanted to start this thing and end it. And a lot of times you read that and you go, yeah, okay, all right, sure. Yeah, Vader was always Luke's dad, sure, okay. I'm starting to believe it with these guys. From the way that they tie in a lot of things, and I'm not telling you they didn't get lucky with certain things and go, oh, well, you know what if that actually tied in that, and Vecna did that because of this, and that played in there, and the way that Elle actually broke out the first time could be tied into this, maybe. But maybe they also had a lot of plans for it. Either way, it's kind of seamless at the moment. I did not expect to love the season as much as I did, so much so that my wife and I, and if you follow me at all on my show, you'll know that it is an ongoing theme, that it's very hard to get my wife to kind of commit to certain shows and movies. We're watching The Offer. That one we're going to watch. We're going to finish together. But she's watched all 3 seasons of Stranger Things, but after the first episode, she was like, I think it's going a little too horror for me. I was like, yeah, I heard that, so maybe if that's the case. She's like, I think I'm going to bail. So she bailed on episode 1, and she's like, let me know if it's any good. And I just watched the whole damn thing. And then this morning, I said to her, I'm like, I'll watch it again with you. And she's like, you're going to watch the whole season again? I go, yes, I will watch this whole season again, because I feel like I'm going to, it's like satisfying and fulfilling because you'll pick up things. So I'm going to watch the whole thing again with her because I loved it that much. Between this, Top Gun, I'm going to see Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm seeing that today, so I'll have a review on the channel here today. So make sure you tune back in for that. But between that, there's some quality stuff going on. There's other things that I haven't been thrilled with, and I am bummed with Obi-Wan. Again, like I said to you guys, I'm not. There's some people who come in and say it's absolute trash, and I hate it. That's your opinion. I don't feel that way. I think there's a lot of great stuff going on in that particular show. I was more excited about that show than I was this show, but it would be silly for me anyway to say that I don't think that this show right now is far superior. I have not seen The Boys yet. I know a lot of people are telling me to see The Boys. I'm going to check that out. I'm going to start watching season 1 very soon. But this show, man, I can't wait. July 1st is the conclusion. And that's the other thing that I think is a tough one, right? Because this is not, even though this is a review of the season that we got, Volume 1, there has to be, once July 1st hits, it's like as I said, when you're watching a movie. If the ending doesn't work, well, then the movie takes a big hit. And if the ending and the conclusion of this thing doesn't really work out, this could be a bummer. However, if it does work out, and the ending's even better, then it's going to elevate the season even more so. But I ask you, what do you guys think? Did you like it overall? I want to get your thoughts on it. Spoil away in the conversation. Again, if you've been watching this and you haven't seen the show, then that's on you. And the comments should be full of spoilers, because I want to hear some more stuff about things that you really enjoyed and things that you like. And once again, if you're brand new to the channel and you just joined in because, hey, I want to see somebody talk about Stranger Things, do me a favor. This is what we do. We do these things on YouTube to try to get more people to be on the conversation, but we got to get you to subscribe. And for all the people who just kind of tune in, and my daughter was saying it the other day. She's like, I do that all the time. I browse by and I don't realize it. Subscribing really helps creators. It does. So get on over there. Somebody said to me the other day, is subscribers all the thing Harloff cares about? To get the word out to more people? Yeah, because I want to make the more content so more people listen to it, so we can have more conversations. And that's why I respond to you guys and have conversations with you guys inside the comments as much as I can. I spend a lot of time sitting in my kitchen typing away to answer you guys and have conversations with you guys, because I want to be involved with you guys. So do me a favor, hit that button. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today for Stranger Things Season 4. I really enjoyed it. If I missed anything that you wanted to talk about, please let me know. I think that I hope I touched enough on Vecna. I mean, what a villain he was. One of the best villains in TV in a long time. And that's it. That's all I got for you. So Stranger Things Season 4, that's my spoiler review. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Get yourself some athletic greens. Links in the description. Peace.